I told someone the other day, I said, if I took one of those 23andMe DNA tests, I'm sure it would trace back to some woolly mammoth hunter that had a pack of dogs that's trying to poke a hole in a mammoth. I'm the explorer, the hunter that wants to look and see what's over the hill or around the bend of the river. This is a 1980 International Scout made by International Harvester. I like the old stuff, just like squirrel hunting. Everybody says that's old-timey. 22s. I just like to be out with my friends, hunting, a lot of camaraderie, and you know, it takes some skill to keep a scout going and to keep the old stuff going. I got started squirrel hunting with my dad, and my dad had a German Mauser, 98 Mauser 8mm, and he traded it for a squirrel dog. We would go Sunday afternoon after church. He would take me along. And in the beginning, I didn't get the pack a gun. I was this squirrel carrying boy or the limb shaker.
Hold on, I know you're excited. I'm excited too. Hold on.
I have a ritual for we start every hunt. We always blow the horn. This is a fox horn, something pretty unique to Kentucky. A lot of people would have old horns hanging up in there, and they would have some like somebody's painted name on it or something, but Kentucky was known for foxhounds. So this is the modern day of that era, the GPS, how you located your dog to call your dogs in. And so to every new hunt that we start, we always blow the horn. So I usually say, they've been warned, if they get killed, it's going to be their fault because they know we're coming now. I'm kind of an unusual person. I don't like new stuff. I like old history. I like to hear the story. Heading down to Kevin's man cave. This is remnants of a moonshine still and a whiskey barrel hoop. And I know the story behind it, who had the setup, the revenuers. I know, I've researched and traced it back, so this means a lot to me. Most people just think it's a piece of junk, but it's got a story. A lot of the things I've got has got some stories. I pick up different things, different states, mostly junk that most people would walk on by or never stop and look at it. This is one of the more interesting things. I remember just reaching down to the ground and I picked it up and I saw the primer in it. I thought that was some kind of artillery round at one time or another. Hunting, there's a lot of stories to be told. We go out in there, I look for stories to tell. Maybe so-and-so made this shot with this rifle and the wind was blowing. That was the annual Thanksgiving Day squirrel hunt. Don't do no counting. There's a lot of people you don't see in the picture. This is me and my friend Paul, now with a flathead catfish that we'd caught limb lining. This is a picture of my dad. Out with his favorite rifle, squirrel hunting gun. It was a Savage, a model 24, 22, over a 20 gauge. Just typical way I grew up, out in the woods with a 22 rifle, a squirrel dog, and with my dad.
Stop, dude. There's been a squirrel.
Oh, yeah. They just hadn't got him. They got to settle in. They got to wind down. I've been a squirrel hunter for, 50 plus years. I'm 60 years old, probably started when I was 7, so 53 years. I've been squirrel hunting and I'll die being a squirrel hunter. The squirrel dogs, 22 rifles, the camaraderie there. I can go with a bunch of people. It's a team sport.
I see him, Murph.
This time of year, squirrels, they won't turn. You need somebody on the other side. And if you don't see the squirrel on your side, you shake a limb or a bush or whatever and turn the squirrel around to the other guy where he can get a shot. Yeah. Watch for him. Watch for him. All right. We're off the egg. So we've had a successful hunt with one squirrel. So let's go get another one. And accuracy is number one when you're a squirrel hunter to me. Now, you know, anybody can shoot one in the stomach and belly whomp him, but a true squirrel hunter, it's kind of some prestige to be able to shoot a squirrel right below the ear or in the eye. You pick a target spot on that squirrel and try to hit that. I love the equipment. You know, a .22 rifle is made to kill squirrels with. It's got to have a good, clean trigger pull because you may not be able to take a rest. You may have to shoot that squirrel where you see him. I sold magazines through the FFA. They had a magazine drive, and I sold enough, bought enough points to get a Marlin Mountie .22, and I sold that Marlin Mountie .22 for $100. I put $36.50, and I got this Model 164, a 2.5 power K Weaver scope, and an extra clip for $136.50. This was my gun, my go-to gun. A Savage Model 164. My dad had an Anschutz, and I knew it was precision made. The trigger was out of this world, so I am a snob when it comes to .22 triggers. This is a Bruno Model number 1, double set triggers. Belonged to my dad. How you activate this is you pull the back trigger and the front one becomes a hair trigger. So all you have to do is just lay your finger on it. You know, this takes Timney's new trigger, the Calvin trigger. You don't have to go through this motion of... You know, I believe, you know, it's a rite of passage as a Kentuckian to be able to shoot a rifle accurate. When I'm lining my squirrel rifle up, you know, you're not shooting from a bench, you're shooting from outdoors. So I like to get against a tree, you know, roof of my truck or whatever, and shoot like natural. You know, a hunt is not for everybody, and I don't want it to be for everybody. Just being outside, being able to walk around and travel and look and try to interpret nature and to see what's going on. Here's another telltale sign you've got some squirrel activity. This is one thing you want to look for. And to share that with somebody that maybe has done it all their life, we can compare stories or bring somebody new on board that doesn't know anything about squirrel hunting whatsoever. All they can relate to as a squirrel is something they see in a city park eating a French fry. I'm gonna shoot, Chris.
All right, go ahead. Watch for him, watch for him, watch for him, watch for him, watch for him.
Dead, dead, dead. You got to grade that squirrel shot?
You had to weed whack your way in?
Dog comes along, throws his head up in the air, and they tree that really hard squirrel. Or we saw this animal do this particular thing. And that's what I live for, is seeing something different out in the woods, looking at nature's story, just seeing what's happening out there. Now, how can't this not be fun? You know, big game hunter, you go out and you work your ass off all week and you shoot one time, and we've been shooting all morning long. And I just, you know, I just love it. Being outside, being with friends, having a gun in my hand, having a dog by my side, breathing fresh air, just being American. To me, that's golden.